So now that you're a little bit more familiar with what the Radwagon is, I want to take the time to actually ride this thing through some areas that you would probably be riding in if you own the Radwagon yourself. So a little bit more paved areas, urban commuting, cargo commuting, stuff like that. So I'll take this test ride time to actually tell you a little bit about this bike. First off, it comes with a 750 watt brushless rear hub motor. The benefit to that is even with those heavier cargo loads, you're gonna be just fine carrying those up even the steepest of hills. And it gives that extra 50 to 75 watts or so for if it really needs to crank around to get it up the hill, it can do that. From our experience riding this bike, it is not very common you're going to max it out like that, but it is good peace of mind to know it has more in the tank if it needs to. On top of that, you have a 48 volt battery with usually a 4-hour charge time. We find that is more than enough for your average commute on this bike. You're gonna get anywhere between 25 and 35 miles on full blast. So essentially, if you're ready as you can, you're still gonna get 25 to 35 miles. And I'd be surprised if your commute is farther than that. Kudos to you if it is. When it comes to the frame itself, they've actually changed their old Radwagon frame from steel all the way over to 6061 alloy now. The benefit to that is it's a lot lighter, and you're going to find it is a little bit more compliant to some of those bigger bumps and stuff. It's not so rigid that it hurts. When it comes to your brakes, Tektro makes your brakes, and you have 180 millimeter rotors with a mechanical disc brake setup. Now the 180 millimeter rotors are awesome. They stop you super quick, and the mechanical disc brakes have quite a bit of modulation in them as well. I would have liked to see them go to the hydraulic brake. However, I think the mechanical disc brakes keep it a little bit more budget friendly and still do a pretty good job. When it comes to your wheels and tires, you actually have 22-inch circumference on these and 3 inches wide for your tread. The benefit to that is with your heavier loads on corners and just staying in a straight line, you are a lot more balanced than you would be on a thinner, taller tire. This keeps you low to the ground. The lower the center of gravity that you have, the more likely you are to stay on the line that you choose, as opposed to trying to compensate for it because you're trying to balance everything that you've added to this bike. You have 7 gears total, and you have a Shimano group set. I like that they went with the best group set maker in the game besides SRAM. They don't really compensate on their parts at all. They still give you a good group set. I find that 7 gears is plenty. Any more than that, and I feel like you wouldn't be using them. They'd be too easy or too hard of a gear for this bike. And when you have 5 levels of assistance, again, I find that's more than enough. On the topic of your assistance, you do have those 5 levels, and so you really do have a level for just about anything that you want to do. So if you're carrying a heavy load, they have a setting for that. If you're looking to become a speed demon on this thing, they have a setting for that too. So they've really given you specific intervals so this bike can ride at the speed and power level that you want it to, and it stays really consistent with staying within that range that you've set it to. On your LCD display, you're going to have a watt meter letting you know how much power the bike is putting out. So you're able to actually extend the battery life with some simple math, seeing, hey, if my legs do more right here, it's actually reducing the stress on the motor and my range goes up. So the combination of your gearing, your assistance levels, the watt meter, and your own manpower is going to make this ride very unique to how you would like it. And we really appreciate that coming from such a diverse terrain area. We have a lot of steep hills here. We also have a lot of flat stuff. So being able to really make this bike fly, regardless of the surface you're on, is a really big pro of this Radwagon 4 right here. So when it comes to your saddle, you have the Velo Plush saddle on this bike. And what I found is most bums are gonna get along with this saddle just fine. I've done a lot of miles on this bike, up to 30 miles in one day, and I really like this seat. It doesn't get any less comfortable over time. When it comes to your grips, they are also made by Velo, and they are shaped ovular so that your hands don't fall asleep on those longer rides where you're putting a lot of pressure on your hands.
One of the cool things about the Radwagon is no two of them are going to be the same rider to rider. With so many different accessories to add, it will be custom to you and your lifestyle. The Radwagon is going to turn a lot of heads. Anybody who wants an alternative to driving for their groceries, or just a fun bike to carry the kids around the neighborhood, is going to love it. Regardless if you are driving or just along for the ride, you and your cargo will feel well balanced thanks to the Radwagon's design. Rad does a great job of distributing the weight of this 77-pound cargo bike, which can't be said for a lot of rear hub driven e-bikes. They also do a great job of keeping you in control and comfortable on your ride. Unless the bike is powered off or dead, you don't have to put in much work to get the Radwagon moving. On the off chance that you do run out of battery, they provide you with a decently wide gear range so that you can granny gear your way to the destination. At the moment, you can only purchase the bike through radpoweredbikes.com, which has been their business model for quite a long time. They give you the option to pay in full or do monthly payments, which is great. Because of their direct-to-consumer model, this bike will be delivered wherever you please and can be assembled by anyone who feels good about following a few simple steps. The Radwagon comes in 3 different colors, orange, black, and white, which provides you with another option to make the bike specific to you and your lifestyle.